Smell Pretty is preparing to live stream the meeting. Okay, I think we're live. Hi, Shirley.
Hello,
Thank you
Michelle.
for, thank you for doing this today.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm so excited. When Audrey told me that you would love to work with Resident Essentials, I felt so honored to have that. Sorry, I've got mine on. I got to take that off. Okay, so everybody's used to me screwing up the first of a live anyway. Anyway, Audrey had told me how really awesome it was that you work and the fact that you guys have known each other forever. Can you kind of give us a little background on how you got started? Because this is a rather unique gift. Not everybody can do this.
Okay. Well, I started in a circle in about 1978. And I sat with a medium, and she kept saying, "You're going to be a psychic artist." Well, I couldn't draw. So, anyway, I picked up a pencil and I drew a face of a gentleman who had a scar. He had a strange bit of a hairdo, and he had a dimple in his chin. And one of the sitters said, "That's my uncle." And it really shocked me. It really shocked me that that happened. And from there, I went on to learn how to draw because I weren't very good at drawing. So that's how it started. I started looking into psychic mediumship, and the drawing came along a little while afterwards. I started looking into psychic mediumship, and the
Wow.
drawing came along. So it was quite amazing to me because I didn't know anything about psychic artists.
That is amazing. That's wonderful. We're having a little technical difficulty. I'm going to have everybody hold on a second because the feedback, I got to get some earbuds in.
Okay.
We're having a little technical difficulty. I'm going to have everybody hold on a second because the feedback, I got to get some earbuds in. Okay, we're going to hold it up and that I am not having time. Sorry, folks. You know, it wouldn't be me if there wasn't some silly stuff going on. Oh, yes. Facebook has changed the way Zoom is on.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can, yes. Yes.
I can't hear you. Boy, they've just really kind of monkeyed with this.
Oh dear.
Um,
I can. I. I am not. I'm not
hold
muted.
on.
So
Hang on. Okay. We're just going to have to do with a little double feedback. And I apologize. So, tell me,
mhm.
um, that's it's so neat that somebody and they do the psychic mediumship. Um, it's so unique to be able to combine it with art and give somebody uh, some things that they may never have seen.
Yeah.
So the question would be, has anybody ever had somebody come through that they didn't want to have come through?
I'm doing the same person with Audrey up in Scotland, and immediately I drew a face, and I said a few things about this gentleman, and the audience, about 400 people, it was blank. Nobody could take what I was saying. And so eventually I said, oh, well, that's okay. I'll put him to one side and put him on the stage later, if you like. And when we finished the demonstration, this lady came up and she said, that's my father-in-law. I hated him when he was here and I'm not going to talk to him now. And it's like, if you'd have just said that, because when you stand up in front of an audience, you want your first one to be accepted so that it makes you feel better and the audience enjoy it. But it was terrible. It was terrible.
Well, I
Yeah.
will say that that happened with Donna and Audrey when they were doing a gallery night together. And my dad came through, and Donna knew that there was a little bit of tension between my father and I. And she's like, I'm not touching this one. And Audrey goes, I'll take her on.
Yeah.
So, describe, tell everybody what it was like. Was it shocking to you that this gift was manifesting and you were, I mean, was this like a surprise, or did you feel it coming on?
I'd always been interested in psychic things and mediumship and what have you, but for me to be um, not special but different in the way that I did my mediumship really surprised me because I, I weren't a good artist. I couldn't do a picture. In fact, when I was at school, the teacher there threw me out of the class because I couldn't draw a straight line. So to be where I am today is
Wow, yes. Because I looked at some of your art. I was like so blown away by the beauty of what you do.
nice. Yeah, but yes, it did. It kind of put me into a different place in my life because I was just a mum and just a housewife, and then all of a sudden I was able to do something that not many people at that time could do. So yeah, I was elated. I was overjoyed. I was excited. And it just drove me on to research it, go back to school, actually learn how to do my artwork. So it gave me a whole new lease of life, really.
So did your husband freak out? Being a housewife?
My husband at that time doesn't agree with what I do. He thinks that we give people false hope, and that was his view, which everybody's entitled to. But that didn't really matter to me that much because we were a close enough couple at that time, and I did my thing and he did his thing. So yeah. Hmm.
Well, that's good. So he's a then husband. So now you've got one that totally accepts what you're doing, right? Yay. That gives me hope.
We've been together 26 years now, so yeah.
Yeah, my last relationship was not very inclined to this, didn't appreciate this work at all. But
Yeah.
that's another story.
Yes.
Um, what are the tools that you use in your work? What kind of, I mean, I know that you use pencil, but how do you do what you do?
Well, I tune into my guides, my spirit helpers. I have my trusty easel handy, or sit drawing on when it's a one-to-one. Generally, I sit with them and draw on my knee, and that's the only tools that I use really. I do readings with tarot cards and crystals and healing and things like that because I've had a lot of years working at this. But yeah, when I'm doing a psychic portrait sitting, I sit with my pencils and my piece of cloth that I smooth the pencil out with, and sometimes an eraser. But that's it. Yeah.
Well, I do know that you do, for the most part, you do most of it in pencil, correct?
Yes, I do.
And then, but you also offer people other mediums of art. You do. So tell them a little bit about that so that they'll know that there's some options there for them if they're
Okay,
interested.
so very early on, I started to do people's relations or in colour, but I found that I would draw a lady and then I would give her the wrong colour eyes. So the person would be saying, "That's my mum, that's my mum," and I'd put green eyes instead of blue eyes, and they'd go, "No, it's not my mum. She's got green eyes. My mum didn't have green eyes." I've never done that since. I've never done that since. It's such a shame to spoil a drawing that somebody recognises because I'm putting the wrong colour in. But I do guides and inspirers in colour. So I would do pastel, um, or I would do oil. A first special would be an oil painting. Unfortunately, oils take such a long time to dry. So it's like you may get me to do an oil of your guide, but you've got to wait until it dries so that I can varnish it and then I can post it out. So we're looking at about 3 months.
And you know what? Honestly, if you're going to pay for an oil, that's well worth the.
Yeah,
You don't want it smudgy anyway.
no, that won't be good.
So before we get started, because you're going to actually do a live reading here, and I'm really excited. What I know that we all have days that we're going to be available. Just let everybody kind of know what days you're available.
Yeah, generally Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are my days for working with this. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to revisit it. If anybody has questions out there, please put them in the comments. We can't see them because we're doing this through Zoom. And Shirley will come back and she will answer after it's all over with. So leave any of your questions and comments, and she will be glad to address them after our session.
We
Are you
finished.
ready? I'm so excited.
Quite nervous, quite nervous, but here we go. Um, First of all, yes, what I want you to do for me is just answer me yes, no, or I don't know. So if I say that I've got a lady here who is so and so, I don't want you to come in with, "Oh, that'll be my mum," or "That'll be,"
No
okay?
feeding the medium.
That's
Gotcha.
right. That's right, because that makes my job much harder.
Gotcha.
Okay. So what I'll start to do, I'll start to draw and then I will start to talk.
Okay,
Okay. So you've got to give me a little while to start and set up the picture. Okay.
that works perfectly. We will watch.
You can see the easel quite nicely there. Yeah.
Yes, we can.
It's not very big, but it's going to be fine. Okay. So I'll stand off to one side so that you can see this most of the time. Okay, I can move it a little bit closer. Um, okay, so I don't know if you can see these lines on the board. I'll make them a bit deeper so that you can actually see what I'm drawing.
They're coming in, and you can see them. You just can't. They're not hard in there, so they're good. We're starting to see the shape.
But when I finish the drawing, I'll fetch the drawing closer to the camera so that it's more visible. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, okay. So we've got a lady here. So we've got a lady. I don't know any more just at the minute. I'll just get the drawing started properly. Okay. So, and I know I'm going quiet, but I have to just concentrate for a minute, so I won't be.
No problem. We're just hanging out watching how amazing you're doing, so good and so quick. And
So this lady is quite an elderly lady. I feel as though she would have been maybe 70 or going up to 80 when she passed over. I feel as though this would be a grandmother link with you. Okay. She is, um, okay. I feel as though she could be quite fierce when she wanted to be, but she would be the sort of lady that would help anybody out. Does this make sense to you as I'm saying this?
yes,
Okay. So we've got a kind lady that liked to get her own way. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. She has a pearl earring, so I think that she liked the pearls. And she would also have had a necklace of pearls. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, she is, okay. Okay. She's going like this to you. She's saying that you do a lot of things, but she's saying that you could focus more. Okay, there's more for you to do than you're doing at the minute. And I believe that she's talking about your psychic work because I believe that she would be quite psychic herself. She knew things without being told. Okay, she's showing me tea leaves. So I don't know if that's her that would do tea leaves or if it was something that you've looked into. But we've got the teapot and the tea leaves and reading the signs within the cup. Mm-hmm. There we go. We won't put too many wrinkles on because I don't like it if you make them look too old. Okay, so she's showing herself as a kind of a normal build. She's got a little bit of extra weight on, but she's not a big lady. Okay, she is. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so she's telling me that she's pleased about your hair. We was talking about your hair. She's pleased about your hair because she went the same. Okay, in patches. Yeah. Now then, she's saying that your mum didn't always understand you. Yeah. And
Yes.
he understood you better than mum did. Yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. So that's, you just sign it there. Because if you want the drawings, I will post them out to you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
For a client, I would expect them to pay the postage, but you know that's fine. Let me fetch it closer to the camera so that you can see more of the.
Oh, that's amazing. That is my grandmother.
Excellent.
She she
She was a lady.
she
I think she would have been a lady that you could get on with as long as you weren't being a bit underhanded.
oh honey,
Yeah.
she was strong. She ran the USO group in Gallup. She ruled with an iron fist and was very bossy. And the funny thing is that I think that she did do tea leaf reading, but she didn't talk to me about it. But it was in her house when I lived with her that I first was hearing spirits.
Ah, right.
That it was like a constant in her house. It was the busiest house I've ever been in.
stop there in case you tell me something else.
Oh, oh, okay.
She's very happy to come through to you, and she's really pleased that you recognise her still. Okay, so it must be quite a while since she's passed over. Yeah. Okay. Right. Now then, give me a minute, and I'll go on to my next drawing, which would be. Okay. Let's see if we can get her straight on. I do find sometimes when I'm doing these drawings, I'm doing them so quickly that my hand starts to just shake a little bit, and it gives me lines on there that I don't really want on there. I know that you said about your son that's passed over. I'm not picking him up, by the way, but was there also a girl that was miscarried somewhere close around you?
I did have a miscarriage.
Okay.
Um,
Because I feel as though this person, who is now a lady, grown up, would be your daughter that didn't survive. Okay. Let me just get this. Picture on the go properly. But I feel as though you already know that she's around you. She's impressing me with the feeling that you know that she's around, and she helps you with your spirit links, mainly with children. So when you're working with somebody that's lost a child, she would be the one that steps forward and works with you.
oh, that's wonderful.
I don't know whether it's your favourite colour or her favourite colour, but there's a lot of red around her. I know red is for energy, um, but she's showing me quite a lot of red. So I know it must be significant in some way. All right, okay. And she has very, very thick hair, and it's a little bit curly, but not curly, just like a wave. Is there a little bit of a ginger colour in your family? Because there's a bit of ginger in there. Okay, okay. but she's showing herself as a young lady.
Oh,
And because a baby is a baby is a baby, she says
right.
that if you look at the picture, you'll see a resemblance to family that are here with a bit of ginger in the hair. Yeah.
I was a ginger. It
Oh,
just kinda,
yeah. Right.
you can't see it here, but it there the my grandmother was a strong redhead, and there was only three grandkids that were gingers,
Right. Right.
and I was
Okay.
one.
Oh well, she would have been. She would have been. And like a lot of babies, babies that have either terminated or miscarries, they come back with a lot of love because it was their journey not to make it and your journey to help them on their way to it kind of forwards their spiritual development because they've had that experience. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
I'm in concurrence.
right. Okay, so hmm. And she's got a locket. It's a circular locket on a chain, but it opens up. So I don't know if that's something that it would be a memory to you or something that you have now with photographs in. Okay. But the locket she's showing me, and I've just put it there to remind me to tell
Got
you.
you.
Okay. Um, okay. Oh, yeah. She is quite an emotional girl because I can feel her emotions coming through. Um, but she wants you to know that she's there and she loves you to bits and thank you. Okay. There we are. The trusty eraser.
Well, I didn't know what I was signing up for, did I?
No, no, no.
Oh,
And and there she is, beautiful
oh,
girl.
she is. She does. She looks so much like family.
Good, good, good. That's good. Excellent, excellent. Oh right, okay. So I did tell you that I'd drawn a picture beforehand, which I'll show you shortly. And he is a guide, but you have more than one guide that you speak to, don't you?
Yes.
Because we've got another one stepping forward. If you don't mind me drawing a guide.
Oh, no, not at all. Go right ahead.
Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Oh, this person will not stand still. Won't stand still. Um, like they're moving from side view to full view, and I'm trying to just get whichever one they want me to do. They seem so excited to come through to you. I don't know whether you do autographs or colour work or something, drawing or something, but I do feel that this one is to do with that kind of work. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And it might not be quite quite what you expect to be artistic, but I do feel as though he's a religious man. Okay. He's full beard, tash. I was trying to see his hair because if he had a circle, I would know that he was a monk, but he won't show me his. So he's got his hood up. Right, now then. Right. He's not an elderly gentleman. I would say he's about 40, 45-ish. But I'm not very good with ages, but that's what I'm
Me,
sensing. That's
me
what.
either. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Okay. So he's not telling me that. That's what I'm sensing. Yeah. Okay. I must say he's quite a hunk. Hunk.
Yes, I got a hug. I got a hug.
Okay. Right. Now I'm going to do that. He's got quite a dark hood. So I'll just use my trusty thick pencil and put some lead on there.
Is he by chance giving you a name?
Just a minute. Okay, so we've got an A. Don't say anything. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. A. Okay. Right, so we've got some colour on his hood for you. So Alexander is the name that I'm getting with this gentleman. Okay. And although he was in the wrong profession, he says, to be an artist, he still did in the Bibles and in the writings, he would do fancy scrolls and fancy things like that. So it came into his work in a small way. Okay. But he is here to help you with either autographs or some kind of artwork. Okay. There. There we go. I don't feel as though he's English. So he's darker skinned than an English skin or our skins. So he's from a foreign clime, and like with most guides, he wants you to talk to him to find out a lot of information. So I can give you his name and I can give you his face, so you've got something to focus, and then it's up to you to go a little bit deeper. But I do feel that he's going back to about the 16th century. So he's really old-fashioned. Yeah, and he's guided many people. Okay, so he knows what he's doing.
Thank
Okay.
God one of us does.
Oh no, no, he's tut-tutting. He's tut-tutting at that comment.
Okay, so I know what I'm doing.
Oh, yes, no, no, it's not that. No, it's not. Well, I'm not saying that you don't know. What I'm saying is he is saying that the abilities that you have should have more confidence behind them.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is what he's helping you with, and giving you extra things to do than the things that you do already. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll fetch him closer to the. But that is.
Oh,
Okay.
he is quite handsome.
Yes, he is. Yes.
He
You know,
looks quite humorous too. Like he actually has a good sense of humor.
yes. You don't you find though that guides do tend to
I do.
have a sense of humour. Now then, I feel as though let me just sit down because we're finished doing the drawings up there because that's a reading consists of 3 drawings. Okay. This one I drew because yesterday I couldn't get the link. The front office had lost internet, so we had to wait for them to put it back on. So this is the guy that I drew for you,
Oh,
and I feel as though you should know him. And this that he's got round his neck is a bear's claw. So I don't know if that's something to do with his name, but I feel as if this is somebody that you would already know. Mm-hmm.
I do.
Okay. So I did that yesterday because I had my guides here waiting and there was nothing happening. So I thought, right, I'll do a drawing for Michelle and fit in tomorrow.
Well, let's start. Well, let's go back, and so everybody kind of knows just how accurate you really are.
Okay.
My grandmother, when you say she was very strong, when she was 16, Fred Astaire wanted her as his dance partner before Ginger Rogers came along. And my great grandmother said, no, she's too young for this. No, no. And so my grandmother was very strong, very deliberate, but she had gifts and her house was always very busy. And my grandfather is actually the one that came to me when he passed over and he said, you're going to be living with your grandmother. So I
Oh,
think that, they knew about their gifts,
yeah.
but they didn't talk about it. But my grandmother was very religious and
Mhm.
she waited until you were older. But unfortunately, she passed when I was 17.
Right. Right.
So,
So it was quite a while ago. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And the young woman you brought in, bless her heart, a couple of things. Yes, we're gingers in our family. That my grandmother was, and like I said earlier, there's 2 cousins that I have, male cousins. They bright red, and I had more the darker auburn.
Mhm.
So she would have come by naturally. My son had it in his hair. My daughter has flecks. The locket is my daughter gave me a locket for Christmas, and I have been meaning to get hers and my son's pictures and put them in the locket. But it's so hard to remember to do everything.
It is.
Um,
Well, that's a good reminder then.
well, and it's funny because my grandmother's house was constantly busy. I
Yeah.
mean, there were so many spirits walking in and out, in and out, in and out, that it kind of creeped me out at first. And I would hear them in the basement talking
Mhm.
and socializing because my grandfather had already passed. So some of his friends, they would all socialize down there because he had a bar set up, an entertainment area where they'd play pitch and pan and do whatever. So for a long time, it was like, how do I get control of this? Right. Um, so it was a real interesting that uh, the tea leaves. I'm quite certain because she always did have her teacup, and you would catch her gazing into
Yeah. Yeah.
it. So, and I didn't know what she was doing, and thank you for giving me that because now I know.
Mm.
Um,
Yes.
it was really funny because one of her uncles in Gallup was thought to be schizophrenic, and I always thought maybe he was clairvoyant because he had killed somebody and he told everybody, no, there he is, he's in the tree, the guy I killed, he's in the tree. So I kind of always wondered, was it schizophrenia, was it clairvoyance?
Maybe it's a fine line.
Yeah, exactly. um Alexander is really kind of an interesting thing. Just so everybody kind of knows what this is. Alexander, what had happened the other day, I was kind of interested in seeing if he would come through. When he presented to me, it was as a message. It was in meditation, and he came through. It was that quick, It was like he flashed in. It was during trance circle, and he flashed in and flashed out. And I understood he presented as a postal clerk,
Right. Right.
and it gave me the understanding that he was there to help me with communication.
Right. Right.
And the what I think you're picking up with is that he's here to help me bring forth the communication on many levels, in my writing, in the things that I do. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yay, for giving me not him as a postal clerk, which is what I've been thinking of him as, but as the monk he is. So that presents a lot better and feels a little more right than this brief
Oh,
flash of a postal clerk.
that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. I'm sure he's glad to have that cleared up. So, um, I have two Native American guides. One is White Elk and one is Raven. Raven is my direct guide that's with me 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's very much a warrior. He's very powerful in his energy and um, blending. He's just very strong in his communication. He's very clear. He's a and White Elk is, I'm working with him with healing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in my connection here is I'm getting the Raven presented himself, um, to me in that aspect as the, and that's the bear claw, is why it was different, because if it had been white elk we might have seen a different hint to who it was, so to speak. And he looks more like Raven presents himself to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
um, than white elk. So it absolutely is such a blessing, because I think we often in this work, doing this work, our mortal mind gets caught up in
Mm.
the day to day. Having my grandmother come through was a blessing, because she hasn't come through yet before for anyone. And I lived with her, and it was one of the first losses that I ever suffered that devastated me.
Yes. Yes.
And so it was a blessing for that. Knowing that my child, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, I believe that it doesn't matter if it's a miscarriage or an abortion, that
Yeah.
it is something that's impressed upon, and it is they're given that time to finish off maybe other things and accomplish. It's a growth for us if we experience that as spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that she helps me with the people who have lost children, because um, that's an important work I think that we do is
Mm-hmm.
especially having lost my own son, and devastating, knowing what I know and doing the work that I do, and always having a connection to my son and having it gone all of a sudden because of the grief,
Mm-hmm.
not because the
Not because
skills
he's
are,
got.
of connection weren't there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, it's such a blessing to know and to have two guides come forward. I gotta admit, I was telling you earlier I should share with them. I told Audrey, as I said to you, I told Audrey, yeah, I think it's because, I asked him, why don't we do a group photo, guys? And she goes, it's your it's, you see, it's you. You clogged up the airwaves and her internet went down. So it was, I want people to know that this is such an honor to, I feel so blessed to have this experience,
Oh,
because we kind of get in our way, in our mortal minds. And
mm.
they're always there.
Yes, they
We
are.
can hear them if we just shut up. And all we have to do is shut up
Mm-hmm.
and be quiet and meditate.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
let's get back so I don't cry. Um,
Oh,
I
dear.
would blame it on menopause, but I'm a little bit past that.
Oh,
Um, what do you charge so people know? We've got you on the Resonant Essentials Facebook. Uh, website. But tell them, what do you charge?
Okay. For reading like that one, $50. Okay. For pastel, I would charge $100, because I would post that out to them, one guide. Okay. For an oil painting, it would be $150.
Plus postage. Remember to tell people plus postage.
Yes, and a wait obviously of 3 months so that the oils could dry. But once I've done the picture, Audrey got hers wet because with
Audrey, she knows.
yeah, you've got to wait for it to dry, and then you've got to varnish it and wait for the varnish to dry. So it's about 3 months. But once I've done the painting, I would send them a snapshot, if you like, so that they knew that I was working on the picture. Yeah.
That's marvelous. Now, I know we didn't talk about this, and are you going to do a Zoom thing with the readings with people from over here, or how will
Uh,
you do the readings in
I,
communication?
I have done hundreds, if not thousands, of readings just from a name and address. So I would just need the name and address, and I could do the portrait sitting, write down any information, send 3 pictures out with that, which I would do over the internet, obviously. Send them pictures, or I can do a Zoom as we've done, so that they can see the drawings developing, and ask questions if you like. Um, but yeah, that's either way's comfortable for me. Now I've done my first Zoom sitting, if you like.
It takes all the good stuff away, all that how complication. It's much easier if you're not doing a Facebook live to do the Zoom, and you don't have me behind the wheel trying to figure out how come I've got the volume on. I finally figured it out. It was the volume was in Facebook, so that's why we were getting a bit of the feedback.
Like,
For anyone that's watching this, if you want to rewatch it and catch it, I'm going to have it up on the YouTube, uh, along with all the other talks that we do in Resonant Essentials. They're all on the Resonant Essentials YouTube. Please
mhm.
like, share, subscribe, and know that Shirley is there, and she's now a part of our crew. And thank you so much for being a part of our crew.
Oh, that's lovely. That is, thank
We're
you.
just so honored with all the practitioners that come our way. It's
Mhm.
I think that's bigger and better, and more people are going to come forward and teach and join our group. So you're open the door for many more to come.
Yes, excellent. That's good. That's good. And everybody works in a different way, so everybody that you listen to will help you on your development, because you pick up a little bit from this person, a little bit from that person, and that's always good.
Absolutely. And I tell this to people a lot. I say, there's nothing when we think that we have developed so far that we don't have to do any classes, or we don't have to do workshops, and taking them, not giving them, but taking them. When we think we're above that level, then we have stopped growing as spiritual beings. So, it's to me, it's one of those things. It's like you said, I don't usually focus on my psychic mediumship skills because I do a lot of administration. I want to get back into my healing, and I want to get back into my readings because that's really where our heart is.
Yes.
Um, so as more
So
practitioners
many
come
other
forward,
people at the minute. You're helping so many other people at the minute that it's a good journey for you to be on, but not forever.
right? And you're right. I'm studying and I'm training, and I do everything that I possibly can do because this work is my passion,
Yeah.
and it's where I find my peace.
Yes.
And I know that I dare any of us that are truly doing this work from our hearts, we all do it from our hearts. We don't just, you know, I don't run across too many people who are charlatans or up to shenanigans. Well, I do. I run into a few, but most people are just, this is their passion, their life.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing a bit of your life with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you, Michelle.
You bet. Okay, guys, I'm going to let Shirley and we're going to stop the live, and we're going to, if you have questions for her, put them in the comment section. She will be back in a minute and answer your questions. My heart to all of yours. Mwah. We love you. Bye.
All right.
Ah, there we go.